Alright, in this video I'm going to show you how I stayed warm in my hammock in the rain, mid-20s at night, with no under quilt, basically. I know a lot of guys, when they sleep in a hammock, and remember, this is a military hammock. It's a military hammock. It's not your Eno hammock or your Buyers of Maine, or I can't think of anybody else right now. Whoever else you can think of, it's not a steel nylon type hammock. This is a military issue, Vietnam era hammock. The material is thick. One of the complaints during the Vietnam War, when they first started issuing those hammocks, were it was hot, it was humid, it was sweaty. Their clothes wouldn't dry on their back because the hammock didn't breathe. There was no airflow into the hammock. Okay. Another reason I like that military hammock is because you cannot feel the wind blow through it. You can feel the cold air, don't get me wrong, you can feel the cold air when you lay on bare back, but you can't feel the air blow through it, the wind blow through it, like you can with a steel nylon type hammock. That's why I like it. It's not nearly as wide as your typical Eno hammock, but for me, I'm 140 plus pounds and 5'5", so I mean, I'm not a real big guy anyway. So anyway, it's a thicker hammock, it's a thicker material. It's not going to breathe like you when you typically think of a hammock. It's not going to breathe like that. So this works with this hammock. I'm not going to say it's going to work with your Blackbird hammock, your Eno hammock, but what I'm saying is it works for this hammock and it works for me. I'm a real warm sleeper anyway. I stay warm relatively easy anyway, so this works for me. Now mind you, I also, when I slept out here in the hammock in this setup, I had my wool blanket shirt on, I had my hood pulled up, I had my wool blanket on top of me. I mean, I was dressed. I wasn't out here in my skivvies in a mid-20s. Okay, I was dressed. First layer of defense is what you're wearing. Remember that. Anytime you sleep in it don't matter if it's cold or hot, your first layer of defense is what you're wearing. I had wool socks on my feet. The one night I didn't even take my boots off. So anyway, I'm gonna show you how I set it up. I'm not gonna put my blanket shirt on or nothing like that, because like I said earlier, it's 70 degrees today. I'm just not gonna do it. But I'm gonna show you how I had it set up and how I slept in it and how it kept me warm. Okay, so I'm gonna grab the camera up. We're gonna turn it around here, and I'm gonna show you how I had it set up. Yeah, just stick with me for a minute, and we'll get right to it. All right, this is my poncho liner. This is just a regular old poncho liner. Some people call them woobies, I think they call them. This is just a regular old poncho liner, military poncho liner. You can see it's woodland camo, so it's an older poncho liner. It's still got a lot of its loft and everything. It's not all wore out. It was practically new when I bought it at the surplus store. But anyway, it's just draped over my hammock underneath my tarp here, and then what I do is, let's see if I can set you up here I'm gonna need both hands to do this. Okay, this is what I do. I take the middle of the poncho. See the two little tie outs in the middle here that it has. Every poncho liner has the two tie out strings on each corner, the middles, and the middle, and the middle. So all I did was I took it, I tied it on the other end already, and I take it and I tie it around the end of my hammock, just like that. And I just put a bow in it, is all I do. Just a simple little bow, just pull it up there tight like that against the hammock, because remember, when you lay in the hammock, it's going to give anyway. Get my bow a little bit better here. Well, I'll pull it through again. just like tying your shoe, just like that. So when you look down, it's hanging evenly on either side, okay? Now, and then all I do from there, I got my wool blanket shirt on. Put the legs back up on my tripod here. See if we can't get in there. See if we can't get in there. I'll show you what I do. Take my hat off. And then when you get in here, you just scoop up under the, remember my wool blanket's still in here. Get it off my boots here a little bit. And then you just get inside just like that. And that poncho liner, well, I just felt a 10 degrees difference change right there instantly. That poncho liner is draped completely to the ground around you. It's closed off at my feet because it meets the hammock. See how it closes off, completely closes off. And then it does the same thing. I don't know if you'll be able to see it or not. It does the same thing above my head. Where's my head at? Where's my head? See, it does the... It does the same thing above my head. Okay? And there's a bit of a breeze blowing today. It's situated down in here. There's a bit of a breeze blowing out there today. Even as warm as it is, I can't feel it. I cannot feel the breeze at all. And like I said, let me get out of here because it's hot. It's getting hot. Goodness. Anyway, and like I said, zoom this back out. With it set up like that, I couldn't feel the wind at all, and because that poncho liner is blocking wind. And I mean, even if it was a strong wind, if you wanted to, you could cinch this up together. You know, get you another tarp clip or whatever and cinch this up together right here on the end if you wanted to. I didn't. You know, you could do a lot of things with that right there. But with the poncho liner, like it was, I didn't feel the wind at all. And with that blanket shirt on and that wool blanket wrapped around my legs on top of it, I didn't feel nothing, you know. But I think a lot of it had to do with that oilcloth tarp also retaining body heat. You know, it was like I said, it's blocking it the way that it's on the north sides all the way to the ground, so it's blocking wind. But the tarp, a tarp being a tarp, it's going to retain body heat as well. So, especially a fabric tarp, you know, it's still going to breathe. It's still going to let the moisture out, so you're not going to get the moisture retained on you. You know what I mean? You're not going to sweat because everything. If you think about it, my wool blanket shirt was breathable. My wool blanket on my legs was breathable. The poncho liner is breathable. You know, it's letting the moisture evaporate out. The tarp itself is breathable. So that plays a big factor in it, because if you ever start sweating, especially when it's cold, you ever start sweating, you're going to get cold. That's one of the reasons your feet get cold first when you have boots on, because even though you don't realize it, your feet are sweating because they can't breathe, so it gets cold. The moisture makes them cold. But anyway, I just wanted to make a real quick video on how I stayed warm in the mid-20s at night in my hammock, in my military hammock, just using my poncho liner to cover over me. I basically cocooned myself. If you think about it, I cocooned myself inside that hammock. And with the poncho going all the way to the ground like that, all the way to the ground, it's completely encapsulating that hammock. That is all dead air space between the ground and that hammock. That is like an underquilt on steroids right there, because it's completely encapsulating that hammock. I didn't feel any cold on my back when I slept in it, and it's like that all the way through. You know, it's. Can I get you there? See, it goes all the way to the ground. Here, let's get it from the side. It goes all the way to the ground from one end to the other. I have my hammock set low. I have my hammock hanging low just for that reason. Just for that reason right there, is so my poncho liner can go to the ground, you know. And if, of course, I'm here in my backyard, so I didn't have a fire, but with the hammock being low to the ground like that, if I would have had a fire, you know, then I could have raised up this front edge on this tarp. I could have raised it up, you know, like this, and the heat from the fire would have been caught inside there. So it works, guys, I'm telling you. But I think a lot of it too, you know, there's a lot of variations here. Would that work with a regular hammock rather than a military hammock? I don't see why not. You know, I just think the thicker material, you get less cold air on your back, you know. But I just want to show you real quick. How I stayed warm in my hammock in the mid-20s in the rain. And it's simple. It works. I mean, you could probably do, instead of a blanket shirt, you know, you could probably do the same thing with a sleeping bag or whatever. As far as this type of setup, and stay warm. Anyway, that was it, guys. Just want to shoot a quick little video. I'd mentioned it earlier, and I said, well, let's go ahead and do it. I got the camera out. Let's go ahead and do it. That's it. Thanks for watching. Appreciate it, and see you next time.